I love that Wikipedia has a list of sexually active popes. There are way more than you would think.
When he founded Wikipedia 25 years ago, Jimmy Wales probably had a utopian vision for how his user-moderated, always free online encyclopedia would inform the world. He probably did not imagine how our next guest has used the website, amassing an audience in the millions by sharing screenshots of the oddest blurbs in the farthest reaches of Wikipedia. Annie Rowerda is the mastermind behind Depths of Wikipedia, which we should say is not just an Instagram page. Some say it's a state of mind, but it is also an in-person show on tour, and she's at the Wilbur next Thursday evening here in Boston. Annie, welcome to the Curiosity Desk.
I'm so excited to be here.
Well, we're so excited to have you. For those who don't know, those who have not been initiated into the cult of Depths of Wikipedia, what's it all about?
I post interesting or unusual Wikipedia articles, and there are more than 8 million just in English. So there's a lot to choose from. There's a whole article of list of works invented in dreams. You would not believe how much you can get done by taking a nap. Baby Jesus theft is a phenomenon where people steal the Jesus from nativities. Beaver engineered dam in the Czech Republic. When a bunch of beavers did an infrastructure project the Czech government was ready to pay for anyway.
This sounds pretty fascinating. How do you find this stuff?
Clicking around.
Yes.
I'm not doing anything that special.
What's it? So can you walk me through, sort of take me into, can you take me a little bit inside of your process, which is to say, like, like as you're clicking around, how do you do it? Do you sort of set aside time to do this, or you just kind of do it as you go? And then is it sort of like the bolt from the sky type of thing, like songwriters talk about? They're just noodling around on the guitar and then boom, the song kind of comes. Do you hear like that tuning fork go off when you see something you're like, oh, that is super funny, or that is super interesting?
That's a very beautiful way to put it. And sort of, yeah. I started this account during COVID and I did definitely set aside time. But now that I edit Wikipedia so much, just as a hobby, because I became addicted to improving it, now I don't really have to set aside time to do this. I just can't stop. I have to set aside time to not do this.
I think most people generally, I think, have a broad understanding of how Wikipedia works, which is to say that it is essentially crowdsourced. It is a dictionary. It's online. People can change it. People can edit it. But as you just pointed out, you're an editor. Can you sort of lift the curtain for us a little bit on what happens behind the scenes, the life of an editor? I mean, it sounds to me like the world of the editors and the community of people who are like super editors who are editing a lot is itself a fascinating thing that could probably does have a Wikipedia page.
Many. So it's a bunch of people all over the place working together. And crowdsource is sort of true, but everything is supposed to be cited. Most articles, if it's a big one that you're reading, you'll probably notice that there are many citations after every statement. But people work together. People kind of do their own things. Rules were developed early on in the process. And in your intro, you said that you thought, hey, the founder probably had a utopian vision. But what's kind of funny is that wasn't really the case. It was a happy accident. They made it in an afternoon just to see if it would work. And it turns out people love correcting each other on the internet.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that part is pretty reflective of real life. I think people love correcting each other in real life as well. But you have
if you like it in real life, you got to try it on the internet. It's even better.
So wait, what's so satisfying? Why is it so satisfying?
That's a tough question. Why is ice cream delicious?
Yeah.
Why does air feel good? Why does it feel great to improve somebody else's statement and make it a little bit better for everyone, and also get that ego boost of thinking I was right?
So let's talk a little bit, especially if people have, if they follow you on Instagram, if they've seen your stuff show up in their social media feeds. How is it like or unlike the live show that you do? How did you turn this into a live show? What happens on stage?
I started doing these a couple years ago, and I didn't know if anyone would come, and it turns out they do, and then they keep coming, and I think people are having fun. I have a slideshow, and so if you hate PowerPoint comedy, you probably shouldn't come to
Not for
this.
you. Okay. So
And
that's
that's
a
okay.
warning.
And I don't mind. And I talk about Wikipedia articles, but what I'm able to do in the live shows, which is really fun, is get into so much more depth about the drama that happens behind the scenes. There is just an entire world back there of people fighting about whether it should be called corn or maize. Shockingly controversial.
Really?
Things like I think the gender of Garfield came up because Jim Davis accidentally made a statement about how he's just a cat. He said he's just a cat. There's no gender. It doesn't matter. And then Wikipedia had to, this became a whole thing.
Yeah.
And so if that is happening on more trivial topics, you can imagine the level of passion and care and just human energy that's going into like changing a single sentence in the Trump article, for example.
Right. Yeah. So for you, as somebody who has, plumbed the depths of Wikipedia, so to speak, and found all kinds of delightful things, can you, I hate asking people like, what is my favorite or what's your top 10, but can you just give us a couple of things that have delighted you beyond belief that they exist, that, like that feeling of this is just, the world is a better place because this is in it. What are some examples that you have found on Wikipedia?
I love that Wikipedia has a list of sexually active popes. There are way more than you would think.
Really? In recent times as well, or are they all older popes?
Mostly older.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy because I feel like that is one of the main, that's like a you had one job situation. That's the main thing the Pope's known for. I love an article. It's called Fidel Castro and Dairy, and it's about how Castro of Cuba was obsessed with cows, ice cream, and it's a whole saga that I will not tell you because you should just go and read it if you're interested. The list of wrong anthem incidents is like both tragic and also the funniest thing I've ever seen.
What is it? What is a wrong anthem incident? When somebody sings the wrong words?
It's when most of the examples are when like athletes or champions are standing on podiums and then the organizers of the event accidentally play the wrong song. So sometimes it's offensive for example, Kazakhstan in 2012, somebody won a shooting competition and they played the song from Borat, which is a fictional movie. That was a fictional movie and that's not the real national anthem.
Oh my God. Incredible. I want to talk about the nature of the word trivia, because I'm sure that comes up a lot in your life. People are like, it's like trivia and fun facts kind of thing. But you have, in the past, you have made a defense. You have sort of defended the notion of what other people might call trivial information. I've heard you describe some of this stuff or trivia as information that carries no responsibility at all, which I really like. What do you kind of mean by that?
That's kind of a good line.
Yeah, that was your line. That was your line.
That.
You said that.
Yeah, trivia is free. It's fun and it hooks you. And usually you'd be really hard pressed to find a piece of trivia that doesn't lead you into a topic that's absolutely not trivial at all. Now I should think of some examples, but off the top of my head, I'm struggling. But everything matters. Even if it is sexually active popes, maybe the few words that you're reading aren't that deep into the history of the Catholic Church, but it doesn't take long until suddenly you are learning about when they signed the papers that said actually the popes can't have sex anymore.
Yeah, I think about the nature of Wikipedia and, the internet more broadly. We talk about just hyperlinks, blue hyperlinks, and the fact that, on a site like Wikipedia, as you point out, you may start with something very trivial, but even just with a few clicks, you can be in a very deeply academic place learning.
Suddenly it's World War II.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing that I'm thinking of now is there's an article called "The Staff Ate It Later." And what that is a caption shown when food appears in a Japanese TV program to indicate that it was not thrown away after filming. The staff ate it later.
Fascinating.
I think that is information with no responsibility, but I'm so curious now about Japanese culture, about Japanese TV. What are the cooking shows that are happening? So that's where I would start clicking.
So the other thing I think about when I think about Wikipedia, it to a certain extent, it feels like something that was born in an internet of a different time. I mean, I think I can remember the time when the internet was really first being adopted widely, and all of the promise that came with it, and the idea of that all of this human knowledge was going to be made available. I think in recent years we've seen some of the negative effects as well, including and in particular on social media. But a few years ago, you did an interview and you were still sort of making the case for an internet optimism. Do you still have that internet optimism?
Perhaps a little bit less, but the thing that does make me, it gives me some comfort, is that underneath all the slop, the good stuff is mostly still there. And the good stuff that has disappeared is usually accessible via the Internet Archive. So that makes me happy. But yeah, I'm with you.
All right, we've been speaking with Annie Rewerda, creator of Depths of Wikipedia. Her stage show by the same name is at the Wilbur next Thursday evening at 7:30. You can go to thewilbur.com for tickets and information. Annie, thanks so much for joining us here on the Curiosity Desk.
Thanks for having me.